I'm gonna make a video on discussion on what schools would be like around the time of World War III. World War III is would imagine if you were in some countries call it primary school, others call it elementary school. I just imagine if you were that age and you're practically in the middle of World War III, or the few years before that. And by this time, if the Israel-Gaza war has not resolved to a ceasefire, would have been in the 10th or 20th year, which is not likely. Ceasefire is very likely to happen. However, Israel would definitely be a battleground for any war that comes in the future because, first of all, I don't know, there's something about that place. Weird things happen to that particular region. I'm not sure why. Anyway, schools will likely still be around. The world's population would probably still be in the billions. It's just that this video is a discussion of, it's not really about schools, actually. So this wouldn't really make sense to discuss it, for education major, or, teaching license, and that actually is a completely different topic. This is very, very different topic. So the thing with school is that you're limited by, obviously, lots of things. First of all, you enter a classroom, and there's usually the minimum is 10 students. The maximum is usually 40, right? Ish. There's lots of people who, I'm not gonna get to the point and say that, because, we've seen with COVID, it's nothing like the Spanish flu or the bubonic plague. It's definitely a forewarning of what could happen. The advantages with school in the modern setting is that, it's a huge advantage, is that you learn a lot of things very quickly, right? That's something that can't really be occurred in a different context. You learn things really quickly, but they're out of context, right? So, in a different context, learning would be very, very different. I can't say what would be like because it's not really something I'm qualified to discuss. But let's just say that probably won't be something that would be of any importance for now. Let this be a warning that, that let's say, it's like the idea of learning. It's like, so many different examples used. I think it's called, I forgot what it's called. You can learn things very quickly out of context in a modern school environment on Earth. There's a risk, is that some people, I've seen a lot of people, they develop what's called, I can't really think of an example, but the term that I learned from someone named Logic Junkie is called a map. Now it's not the map where where there's like geographic landmarks. No, that's different. It's basically I've seen a lot of people, they basically develop a way of seeing the world that really doesn't make any sense. So there's a risk with the modern school environment in that case. The other risk is that I've seen that people make is I'm not sure why this happens. It's basically a blind, making friends with people that are not really worth the effort. I've seen that happen too many times. It's just however, that's a very opinionated thing. It's not. I think the better phrasing is that the phrase that probably makes more sense is that on Earth there's a lot of traps. Traps not like a tourist trap, but like, for example, you make, and the thing is, I might define it differently than other people, so it might actually be a different word. So I would definitely let you know that I'm probably not using that word in the way that most people use it. I've seen what happens. Some people they interact with a certain type of person, and for the most part, in my obvious judgment, it was basically a waste of time, and waste of energy. So there is a risk that I've seen happen to people, right? That is definitely a risk in the modern school environment on Earth, especially in certain countries. I can't say if it's all countries, right? It's definitely the United States, so definitely.